Alright guys, welcome to another video for the Poco X3 Pro, also known as Vayu and Bhima. Now this time we are talking about a custom ROM after a long time, but yes, custom ROM videos will continue. We have a video coming up for this Redmi Note 10 Pro as well, because a lot of guys whose Poco X3 Pros have died, they've got the Note 10 Pro, and yeah, you should install custom ROMs on Note 10 Pro because it will be a lot of fun. So, what do we have today? We have NitrogenOS official for the Poco X3 Pro. I've installed it 2 days back and it's been working just fine. I did try a couple of matches of BGMI and Apex Legends. So, this will be a full-blown complete review. Stay till the end of the video to know all the information, including benchmark numbers. But without further ado, hello awesome people. Welcome to PhoneOps. My name is Kailash. Let's get going. Now, before we begin, a quick humble request to you. Please subscribe because it doesn't cost you anything and it really motivates us to make amazing content like this. Well, let's see what we have here. We have NitrogenOS official Poco X3 Pro Vayu Bhima. It supports both the variants. Android 12.1, of course, updated on the 8th of June 2022. Now, this is the initial official release with the June security patch. Safety net has been fixed. This is the enforcing build, updated surface flinger props, update blobs from 13.0.2, use Vulkan for UI rendering, set debug SF layer, thermal bump a little cluster threshold a bit higher, count for max value instead of weighted average. These are all technical things that have been changed, but they definitely add up to the experience. NFC fix, MI fair classic reading support, SE policy fix some denials. Now, of course, this is the OSS based ROM, does not include GApps, so you will have to flash GApps separately. The firmware is 12.0 onwards. That is what you should use. 12.0 based firmware, SE Linux enforcing, safety net should be passing, and don't directly message the dev. Right now, the moment you boot into this particular ROM, a very standard affair going on, a very smooth UI, the 860 powered Poco X3 Pro doing a splendid job, and I was really surprised to see how debloated this ROM is. And another good thing about this ROM is you do get Gcam, at least some sort of Gcam available, although this might not give you the best quality until and unless you go ahead and install a proper XML and a proper Gcam of your choice. But it's good to see that the NitrogenOS team developers are at least making an attempt to have you covered with including a camera. Now to the left, let's see over here, we have home settings, notification dot. So on this particular launcher, we don't have Google Feed. A little sad there because I really like Google Feed and I would want to use it. Apart from this, if you go to widgets, you do have your standard Android 12.1 stuff going on. Wallpapers, well, wallpaper in style, change wallpaper, on device wallpaper. So you don't even have those curated culture wallpapers and stuff like that. So that is missing as well. Now let's long press here, wallpapers, wallpaper in style, change wallpaper. Okay. Now, apart from this, in the quick tiles or in the app drawer, there's not much that you have, but we'll still, quickly have a look at the quick tiles. You do have your standard stuff, you have a refresh rate tile, you have a caffeine tile, you have a standard Android 12, privacy icon tiles that are available. There are a few advanced options like direct sound, HBM, that is high brightness mode, CABC, and MI remote. So, most of them are working absolutely fine. I've not had any issues. Overall, using this ROM as a daily driver, the UI is pretty smooth. The experience is pretty decent. The cell reception, the Wi-Fi reception, those features are working absolutely okay. And because this ROM comes with safety net fixed, I've not really had any issues using, the banking applications in any of the leading apps in India, at least. That is HDFC, SBI, all the banking applications are working absolutely okay. Now, apart from this, Widevine L1 is present, so you don't need to worry about consuming your HD content on this particular device. So these are the basic things that are available and they are working. But what about the other information? So let's go to settings over here and let's say go to about, go to Android version. Now, as you can see, June security patch, Android version 12. You do have your Android 12 Easter egg there. Nitrogen kernel, they are using their built-in kernel, so no changes there. And say network and internet, connected devices, apps, notifications, you can go to notification history and enable it. So once again, standard Android 12 stuff. You don't really have the option of thermal profiles over here, which you should have had, considering this ROM is now in the official state, and thermal profiles is something that really adds up. Another thing to note over here is even in the apps section, I don't really have the gaming mode available over here. But if you go to say touch control, responsivity, sensitivity, so these options for increased touch sensitivity are available. That is a good thing. But I don't see game mode as a whole available. Now moving on, if you go to sound, you have your standard Android 12 stuff, but you will see that you do have a lot of additional customizations like screenshot sound, direct sound enhancer, haptic feedback, intensity and stuff like that. Although the Poco X3 Pro doesn't really have one of the best haptic motors, but it's pretty good that you at least have an option to adjust the haptic sensitivity. Apart from this, if you go to display, you have lock screen customization. Of course, this is a device that doesn't come with a AMOLED panel, so always on display is not really an option. You do have your privacy settings over here, face unlock settings over here. You can directly skip the lock screen, double line clock. So, all these customizations are what makes a custom ROM a custom ROM. Again, if you go to ambient display, you have the pickup mode, you have the gyroscope for pickup, hand wave, pocket. Now let's see if hand wave mode works or not. Let's lock this. No. So the hand wave mode is not working, but if you touch the screen, it definitely works. Now the fingerprint scanner and the face unlock have been working absolutely okay. You have your color customization over here, some additional display features. Now moving on, you do have wallpaper and style, of course. So that does give you access to Monet customization, which is working absolutely fine. And as I said, the Monet UI is working okay. You have your basic customization of Android 12 that is present, that is working fine. Now you do have a dedicated menu over here, which is known as personalization, in which you do have some basic customization. You don't really have over the top detailed customization and stuff like that. I have seen in the past that NitrogenOS has been someone who, a ROM which does give you a lot of customization, but probably because this is the latest official release, they will be slowly adding features and stuff like that. There is one bug though, if you click on device features, it just crashes. So that bug is definitely present. Now moving on, if you go to system, you can view the changelog over here. You do have some gesture-based customizations available over here, backup and developer options. Now, that's everything about the operating system. I've not had any random reboots or crashes. Now the gameplay experience has been pretty decent, I would say. 60 Hz gaming, it was doing a decent job as far as the Snapdragon 860 on a custom ROM is concerned. But if we talk about the throttling test, as you can see, the CPU throttled to 83% of its max performance. Now, that is not something I would expect from a custom ROM. I would expect it to be in the neighborhood of 88 to 90% throttling. The average score was 158,612 GIPS and the max score was 182,733 GIPS. Right now, the brightness as such on this ROM has been completely fine. I've not had any issues with the brightness. But if we actually go to Antutu, when we are talking about benchmark numbers, let's see, 523,965. Now, this is unfortunately lower than the stock ROM. And if we actually go to Geekbench and go to history, 714 single core, 2406 multi-core. So, this is where we, PhoneOps as a channel, come into the picture. We would request you to wait for 1 or 2 builds before you actually go ahead and try this ROM, because this is the initial official build. They are still optimizing a lot of stuff. The performance is not up to the mark and the benchmark numbers are clearly saying that story. Charging, battery backup, all these options have been working absolutely okay. So I've not had any issues at all. All in all, NitrogenOS based on Android 12.1 for the Poco X3 Pro, a step in the right direction by making it official. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this video. Until the next one, this is Kailash signing off at PhoneOps. Keep smiling, take care, goodbye.